Conker's Bad Fur Day, more specifically the Live and Reloaded version, is a platformer developed by Rare and published by Microsoft in 2005. Now, this game I absolutely fucking love. It's like, there's not really a game like it on the N64, that is. There's lots of comedy games nowadays. But, like, this was pretty interesting. Especially it was really, like, epic for the N64 just because of, holy shit, they had so much voice acting. But yeah, the history is interesting. It started off as like a kid-friendly platformer, like Banjo. But then the Banjo team were working on an RPG, and they saw how they were doing on their platformer, so they're like, let's make a kiddie platformer just like fucking Conker. So guess what? They made Banjo, and then they ripped off, Conker. And, and when Conker got revealed, which was after Banjo, since they were, like, developing it for a long time, they were like, yeah, we don't like this because it's going to be another kiddie game. So then, they decided to be like, okay, fuck you, we're going to, make it for adults, and then they went balls to the walls with whatever the fuck. You can easily tell, like, it was inspired by things of the time, like South Park and all that. But yeah, the game is very interesting, especially, like, its history, just because, like, there's lots of cut shit, like, Hitler teddy. What else? There's a scene where like they're performing like open surgery on a guy. Like there's lots of fucked up shit that they cut. Like the Klan, they were gonna be like a KKK joke in the fucking game. Like there were lots of shit they had to cut out, mainly for Nintendo reasons. Like there's a scene where they Don Weezo beat up a Pikachu. But yeah, after that, the game came out, sold poorly, but people liked it. Microsoft buys Rare in 2002, and instead of making, keep working on the sequel that you were originally working on, work on a remake for the original Xbox called Live and Reloaded. And it was originally going to be uncensored, but Microsoft got cold feet and decided to censor it. And yeah, and that's the version I'll be reviewing, obviously. And the thing with this game is that people don't like it because it's censored. I'm going to explain why it's censored later in the video, but people like that, they're very fucking stupid. But yeah, let's stop wasting time and let's get into the review. Oh shit, it's a copy of Madden 15. We're safe now. Let's just jump straight into the game's story, and I'll give my pros and cons at the end of the review. The game opens up with Conker on the throne with homage to A Clockwork Orange, a Stanley Kubrick film that I barely can show footage of just because, one, it's owned by Warner Brothers, two, there's lots of rape scenes in them. You also see a bunch of wacky characters surround you, which foreshadows the events of the game, and you see the title card. You cut to Conker's girlfriend, Barry, which, I'm not a furry, but I'll fuck the shit out of that chipmunk. Conker calls Barry, telling her that he's gonna be a bit late due to him being wasted. And the question I have here is, how the fuck does he, kiss Barry? Does he need a fucking ladder? Because he's kind of short compared to her. We cut to this castle where we meet the Panther King, and he is a fucking idiot because he cries like a little bitch because his milk fell over on the table with 3 legs. Now, if you know anything about physics, you would know that wouldn't fucking work. So, you gotta get a new fucking table. Why are you pissed? Stop getting pissed. Just go get a fucking table. You're a king. You are literally, the ruler of this land. Go steal a fucking table. Conker got so fucked up that he wakes up in an unfamiliar place, but he meets this scarecrow called Birdie. Birdie's like one of those homeless crackheads you meet at the transportation center. He gives you advice, but he's also a fucking weirdo. He pretty much explains to you this mechanic in the game called context sensitive buttons, where you press the B button and something happens relating to the context of the situation. Very funny game mechanic, lol, satire, parody. I'm lolling, I'm ruffling as we speak. So Conker decides to get Birdie fucked up, and he fixes his hangover by drinking a glass of milk with a pill in it. And he explains to you how to skip cutscenes. And the cool thing about this is that Chris Seaver re-recorded lines for this game. They added some new cutscenes, so for the new controls, since we're not on a shitty N64 controller, we are now on an Xbox controller where the real gamers are at.
This is the last damn thing that I want to hear today.
Well then,
you commute them, but you're just in a feisty mood tonight because you was like that when you walked through the door.
well, tell this little fucker to shut his fucking mouth.
Greg, if
Yeah,
you don't
Mom.
stop it.
Yeah, Mom, I'm in a feisty mood.
You also find yourself in this room where you have to get a key and you have to get out the fucking door. But was it you know, you gotta get a new cutscene. Woo woo, we got a new cutscene. And oh shit, we have these enemies. Pretty much these are like goblin type things. I don't know what the fuck they are, they don't explain it, but pretty much these guys are supposed to be like your enemies throughout the game, which in the original you didn't have these guys around, which was like, okay, makes sense to add enemies around, give you a little bit of challenge, but these guys aren't a challenge, they're more of like an inconvenience. Conker meets up with the gargoyle, and the gargoyle is all like, you can't come by because you're a little bitch. And Chris Seaver must have forgotten what the gargoyle sounded like, because you can easily tell what is an old voice clip and what is a new voice clip.
If you care to come a bit closer, we can discuss things of another nature.
Yes. But the designer thought it wise to change the training level a bit. To fool the audience into thinking that the rest of the game would also be different. I'm afraid you'll have to try something else.
Anyway, the gargoyle dies awkwardly and you blow up this boulder, and that's the end of the Hangover chapter. In the next cutscene, you meet the scientist Von Krippelspeck. And yes, he's a German stereotype, and yes, you know, obviously he's crippled. And the Panther King's like, yo, you better do some shit for me, or I'm gonna do some BDSM sex games. And he's like, fuck you. And he sees anti-gravity chocolate and he throws it out the fucking window. Now you are in the overworld, also known as the Windy chapter. And you really, you know, you come back to this chapter once in a while just because, you know, you're just doing other shit since, you know, this, you know, it serves as the overworld. Another thing is that the music in here is great, and it looks great as fuck. Like, this looks like an early 360 game. Find this queen bee who's crying like a little bitch because her hive was stolen. So you go get her hive, and she uses fucking machine guns to kill, you know, the wasps that stole her hive. Then after that, you're introduced to the main collectible in this game, money. Now, this game isn't really a collectathon per se, but this is the thing you want to look out for.
Yeah, cash, prizes.
You meet up with Birdie, he makes a Full Metal Jacket reference, and you give him money, but then the money comes back to you. Then you look at this manual that you'd never use again, and then you kill a bunch of dung beetles so you can unlock 2 areas. You have a choice of which area you want to go to. I recommend going to the right first since it's, you know, pretty easier, plus you can't do the left unless you go to the right first. This chapter is called Barn Boys because, well, it's obvious. And what do? You overfeed a rat, then it dies. You get money, obviously, because, you know, that's the main collectible. But what else? You fuck with a pitchfork, then he tries to kill himself, but he realizes he doesn't have a neck. And after that, you go to see flower boobies, and what the fuck am I looking at? And then after that, you see this Terminator reference, and then you defeat him. Then you escape electric water, and then you hit this button, and then you get more money. And yeah, that's the end of the chapter. I bet this is how you fuck in this universe. We cut to Von Krippelspeck, who came up with the dumbest solution. Instead of getting a new fucking table, he's like, yeah, get a red squirrel and put it under this table, you know, because that'll totally fix the situation. So that means, you know, they're looking for you, and you're wanted, like that one song. You meet up with this dung beetle who tells you gotta make a ball of shit. So you go through this, you know, platforming part, and you meet up with this bull who's racist because he hates the color red. So that means he hates you, even though you look more like an orange, even though, you know, the animal you are is a red squirrel. Anyway, you get out this prune juice because, you know, you need cows to drink it so you can make shit. So then cows drink the prune juice, and then they shit, and then you kill them because, you know, fuck them. This was the area where I first died, and surprisingly, throughout capturing footage, I haven't actually gotten the game over. But anyway, you meet up with this dude called Greg, and he's the Grim Reaper. He explains to you that you can get as many lives as you think you can get away with, because, you know, game mechanics. And so you collect these squirrel's tails throughout the game now, since, you know, that's your lives. You meet up with the dung beetle, and he's all like, yeah, you got all the shit you need. So you roll up a shit ball, and you put it on top of one of those goblin fuckers, and then you see this button, and you press it, and you suck these goblin fuckers into the drain. Now you're in the Bats Tower chapter, where you meet these asshole catfish, and they're like, yo, some fucking dogfish stole money from us, and we're too much of a pussy, because, you know, they're cats, to get that, so can you do it? And Conker's all like, okay, I'll do it if I get like 10%, which is like $1. You swim, and you meet up with this cog, who is a very friendly gentleman, I assure you. And you need to go get the female cog so he can sexually assault them. Yes, that is not a joke.
Bloody hell. Come on, put it on, quick. Put it on, I like it like that. Oh, fan-f***ing-tastic.
Make the cogs spin to wind up the bullfish, and then the cogs fall out, and then you get the male cog and you put his ass on top of the big cog, so you know, he gets raped back. You meet up with the catfish and they're all like, yeah, I'm gonna open this vault for you. So they do that, and you have to do some more swimming. Now, a thing about swimming in this game is that I haven't really talked about it yet, but the swimming in this game is pretty good, but sometimes it can be annoying, like this part, where pretty much this part I wouldn't call fun. It's like kind of boring and not even difficult, it's just boring. After that, you meet up with some fire imps and you piss all over them.
Holy shit, did that mention piss? Do you know what this means?
Then they go into this furnace, and then you slap the furnace's balls off. So then you get the money they needed, and they're all like, yeah, you're only getting $10. And Conker's like, oh, well, fuck you. And then the bullfish, you know, fucking, you know, escapes somehow. And then the, he kills all the catfish, and then he tries to kill you in a Godzilla reference, but, you know, he fails. After that, you enter the Sloperano chapter, where you explore a big-ass mountain of poo using the poo balls from the, you know, the cows earlier. And you know, you roll them up, and you know, you open up the mountain so you can go in there and defeat the great mighty Pooh. And here's a little inconsistency I noticed. How when outside of the mountain he wore a gas mask, but when he was inside the mountain he didn't, and that's fucking stupid. Anyway, I don't really have much to say except the great mighty Pooh fight is one of the greatest things of all time. I'm just gonna play like the full song right here, like no joke.
Mighty Pooh, and I am going to throw my at you. A huge supply of teach comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. This lovely grin. Have some more caviar. Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly tiggly little tag nut. When I knock you out with all my map, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt. My butt. My butt.
We go back to Barry, which she is just working out, but this rock fucker comes and punches her in the face and kidnaps her. And guess what? He is not the only thing that's a rock. After that, you know, swim through some blades, and you get to see the funniest joke in the entire game.
I tell you, I'm not a squirrel. Get your hands off me. What are you then? I'm an elephant.
That's the end of the Sloperano chapter, and now it is the beginning of probably the best chapter in the whole game, Ooga Booga. So this chapter begins with an Indiana Jones reference, and then you go to hatch a baby dinosaur egg so you can fucking kill it like an asshole.
Well, it's gonna be interesting.
4 big guys, and they bust on my eyes. They eat my ass just like apple pie. If they keep fucking me like this, I might just die. They pop my booty till I cry. He licked my dick and the cum start dripping. I took a bite of his ass, it tastes like lemon pepper chicken.
After that, you do some wacky shit and you get a disguise and you start a cult with these cavemen who start worshiping you. So after that, you kill rock dudes and you get into the club Rock Solid. At Rock Solid, Conker does his usual shit, you know, like getting drunk and you know, giving people a golden shower. And you free Barry, but you get called in by the Godfather because you stole his money. And then you see the scene that is portrayed as the most violent, even though it's not even that bad.
Polly. You don't you ever do that again to me!
After that, Don Weasel's all like, yeah, cavemen being in a prehistoric land, just unnatural. So he shows you a route where you have to blow them up, and you have After that, you're mugged by a bunch of fucking cavemen, and they're all like, yeah, you're not getting your money back. But then one of them dies, and he leaves his hoverboard. So you know what you do? Go on that hoverboard, and you race them, and you knock them out to get your money back. And goddamn, does this have the best song in the entire game. Get all your money back. This was a caveman called Bugga the Nut, was to impress this cave woman called Jugga, so he makes you face your challenges.
What are you talking about? Face my challenges? How? Why, in the arena, of course!
In a Jurassic Park reference, Bugga summons this baby dinosaur, but this time you don't kill it. This time, you know, you mind control it, and you use it so you can kill the other cavemen, because they deserve it. After you kill a bunch of cavemen, Bugga the Nut gets jealous that you have a bigger dick than him, so he tries to fucking kill you and the dinosaur. But guess what? You get to see his censored, tiny, peeny weenie. After Bugga the Nut cries like a little bitch, you tell the baby dinosaur to fuck off, and it does after you throw him a bone. Then after that, you try to cheat on Barry with Jugga, but Jugga's like, you know, I like you, but we can't fuck. That was the end of the Ooga Booga chapter. After that, the queen bee didn't learn a goddamn thing since the hive is stolen by the goddamn wasp once again. Can she learn how to fucking use the guns before they fucking, you know, steal it?
But this time, they did things differently. Wait, what the fuck? This is the wrong channel.
This time you go in the fucking hive and you use the guns to shoot at them. And then you take the hive, you know, you leave the wasp nest, then you give it back to the queen bee, and then she blows them up. And now, the 100% sure, the wasps are never fucking coming back. They're dead, they're in hell, they're fucking gone. After that, you meet up with Mr. Barrel and you give him all the money you made, but don't worry, you're gonna get that back. And you roll on him, you kill some worms, and then you crash into this fucking place, and you get knocked out. That was the end of the Windy chapter, and now it is the beginning of Spooky. And this is where the game decides to turn you, you know, sideways, where it turns into a shooter instead of being a platformer, and the shooting is... it's fine, you know, it's fine. But anyway, in the Spooky chapter, you know, you kill some zombies, because, you know, Greg the Grim Reaper gave you a shotgun. After that, you get turned into a bat since you met your, relative who's a reference to Bram Stoker's Dracula. And, after that, you have to get 3 keys, which this part is not as hard as people say it is. It's easy, you can get all the keys in one shot, you just need to be good at this game. So the Spooky chapter is over, and oh look, it's war. I kinda don't wanna talk about it.
My name is Cleveland Brown, and this is my EP. My name is Cleveland Brown, and this is my EP.
much he explains to you that you and Barry in a cool suit need to you know, do a Matrix parody and break into this bank so you can steal money. After a bunch of wacky slowdowns and what's hacking shit, you know, we go and steal the money, and now we have $1 million. Woo woo! But you know, now the Panther King's all like, yeah, Don Weasel was working with me the whole time, so we're gonna kill Barry now. And then Barry dies, and Conker shows emotion finally, because he hasn't shown any emotion throughout the entire game. After that, you know, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and let Cripple Speck explain it.
Squirrel got rid of my teddies. Bastard. I think the latest addition to my plans is about to take shape. Oh, the incubation period is just about complete. Not a moment too soon. Yes, yes, my liege. Let us kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, your eyes did not deceive you. That is a fucking xenomorph, and he's the final boss fight of this entire game. And his boss is just you know, Mario 64 parody. Anyway, after you see the fucking xenomorph, Cripple Speck dies due to you opening the airlock, and you, oh look, another alien reference. He gets into the you know, mechanical suit, and after that the game crashes, and he's like, developer, fix this shit. Then you get a weapon, then you teleport into the you know, fucking king's room, then you kill him. Then all the fucking wacky characters are like, Conker, you're the king now, cause you know, you get to be the king. Then Conker fucked up since he forgot to get Barry. And then we have you know, one of the deepest things in a video game, where you know, we have a fucking big talking pile of shit. After that, the credits start, but guess what? There's an after credit scene, and pretty much Conker gets drunk cause he's depressed. That's about the whole scene. You know, it's better than Thor and Love and Thunder, so you know. Now let's start with the cons. So a major problem with this game is that its concept is not seen as creative today. What I mean by this is that in a day and age with shit like Postal, Saints Row, and the South Park games, being a raunchy, wacky game isn't really, you know, original anymore, just because there's so many games like that now. But not saying the game is bad, far from it, just there's, you know, games like this, so this one doesn't stand out that much anymore. Another problem is that the animations are too stiff. You see, they use the original N64 animations, so the eyeballs like blink once in a while, and it looks a bit unnatural just because you're using older animations with newer graphics, so it just kind of looks weird. You get what I'm saying? Another thing this game has is a bad case of where the fuck do I go? Because the thing is, there's certain moments in this game where you'd be like, okay, what do I do now? Like, because sometimes it doesn't tell you exactly what to do. For example, if you never met Mr. Barrel, you would not have, you know, gone up there and given them money. No, if you didn't go there by the time you, you know, killed all the wops, you wouldn't know what to do at that point. So, you know, you'll be there for a while. One of the biggest issues that the fan base had was that the game was censored. And here's my take on it. It's such a minor fucking problem. Like, sure, it's not consistent. For example, you can say ass but not asshole, but it really doesn't matter. And you know, you can unlock uncensored stuff in the, you know, the online mode, but not the story mode, which, you know, it's inconsistent. But the thing is, put yourselves in Microsoft's shoes. You have this, you know, game series that's like, you know, pretty big, but you don't have a fucking audience yet. If you look at past Xbox originals, you realize they don't have making sense. Like, you see that sentence I just said? Like, it made no sense just because lots of these games didn't make sense at that time. So I can see why they decided to censor it, so they can try to find an audience. But, you know, in my opinion, they should probably remake this game with, you know, uncensored stuff. So, you know, this would be cool. And speaking of Xbox, let's get straight into the pros. And one of the pros is that this game looks great for an original Xbox game. It actually kind of looks like an early 360 game. Like, it looks really fucking good. Like, I don't know how to quite describe. Like, Rare is known for pushing the limits on the hardware they're on, especially with the original Bad Fur Day, which is pretty advanced for the original N64. But yeah, this actually looks like an early 360 title. Like, Rare really outdone themselves with this one. Another thing which is pretty obvious about this game is that this game is pretty funny as fuck. Like, even today, like, yeah, it's crude, but it's still pretty funny just because of the absurdism of it. It's like Freddy Got Fingered. Like, yeah, it's like fucking raunchy and dark as fuck, but you know, it's just, you know, fucking funny because the absurdity of it.
I'm being creative. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
Now, before we get to the conclusion, there's a certain topic with this game that everyone brings up, that this game needs a sequel. And in my opinion, it's perfect as it is, and I don't see the point of making a sequel. First of all, the original creator, Chris Seaver, he wouldn't make the sequel that fans would want just because his sense of humor has changed. Like, he isn't the same person that he was 20 years ago. And the people at Rare now are completely different people. So we wouldn't even get a proper Conker sequel. Like, you know, if we were to get a sequel, we would need the original mind of Chris Seaver, which, as he said, he probably wouldn't do. And he has shown an embarrassment over some scenes, like the cogs and the sunflower. So I don't see the point of making a sequel. I think the game's perfect as it is. Anyway, to the conclusion. In conclusion, do I think this game is good or some shit? Fuck yeah, in my opinion, this is like legit one of the best games of all time. It's really funny, it's crude, but still pretty funny just because of the absurdism of it, as I mentioned before. But yeah, this game is really good. And this version, right, is like $10 on like the Xbox One and Series X stores, which is cool. But if you're a pussy that like can't handle better gameplay, and you want N64 graphics, well, you know, the Rare Replay version is like $30, and it's in that collection, so you know that's always an option. But yeah, this game I overall recommend. It's pretty good. It's not the best, obviously. There's some flaws, but like that's the thing with all things that we enjoy. There's always going to be flaws that we have to point out, like with this game. And yeah, I do think this is like legit one of the best games of all time. It's funny, good level design. You know, I don't know what to say at this point. You know, it's just a good game. But the thing I do know is that this had a cool online mode back in the day, and they shut it down in 2010 because of original Xbox. You know, online support doesn't exist. And Conker would kind of get a sequel, but it's more of like a canceled sequel called Big Reunion. Conker's Big Reunion was going to be an episodic game on Project Spark, but they discontinued Project Spark, which meant they canceled all future episodes they were going to make. So yeah, that's kind of depressing. Then they made Young Conker, which was a shitty HoloLens thing. Yeah, Conker's kind of dormant now. Like, I personally don't want a new game. I just kind of want a remake where like everything's uncensored and like they have new animations and it looks way better. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. Like, it's kind of like the game's ending. Current day Conker's kind of bittersweet, but yeah. Oh shit! Why are games trying to kill me nowadays? It's a copy of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare with Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered inside of it. The review is over now.
Lucifer.